Welcome to another episode of Peers Over Beers, your favorite digital and social evangelist podcast, with your industry veteran hosts, Michael Sandoval and Chris Tetzel. This podcast starts now. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Peers Over Beers. I'm one of your hosts, Michael Sandoval.
And I'm Chris Detzel.
Hello, Chris. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
Excellent. I'm doing great. You know, it's been a couple weeks since we've had a chance to talk to each other. You've gone to holiday, I think, or on holiday in Cancun. I hope everything's well.
I did. Yeah, it was a 3-day holiday, and we swam a little bit. We drank a little bit. We went on the beach, and that's about it. I mean, it was just relaxing.
I will say, and I'm sure you're having the same experience. As I go through Facebook and I see all my connections are finally kind of leaving the house. They're on holiday. They're going doing this, and my sister and her family just got back from San Diego and SeaWorld, and
Nice.
which is great to know. I mean, that's great. I was going. I was in Santa Fe this past weekend.
Oh,
I
wow.
went to go see an art installation called Meow Wolf.
Was it good?
It was great. Absolutely
Wow.
fascinating. I don't even know how to tell you what it is. It's you pay $40 to go into this. I would akin it to like a haunted house that's not haunted, a maze that you have escape paths to get out and re-enter type of thing, and then it's a murder mystery at the same time. So it's or missing history. It's so hard to. It's really
That
just
sounds
interesting.
fascinating, though.
It is an art installation though, so the whole thing about it is about media and you can touch everything. You have to explore so you can understand it, and the creativity of some of the artists in each of these rooms is amazing. It's very, very, very cool. You almost have to like look at the videos to see what I'm talking about. It's pretty crazy.
Cool, man.
4 hours in
Sounds
the
fun.
maze. Amazing.
4 hours. Jeez.
4 hours it
Did
took
you
us.
just sit it all, or?
No, standing the entire time. It's crazy. I know, ridiculous. But anyway, that's how it is. But sir, I think from last we had a chance. I think you were talking a little bit about your initial launch of your new community, and we've had a little bit of time since that's been out. Any findings or thoughts in your?
Yeah. It's interesting. So it's I guess 2 months now, officially actually today.
Oh wow!
Interesting enough. So yeah, it launched 2 months ago, and it started off with a bang, and kind of continued on, and I'm still continuing to create really good content. We started a webinar program. We've had 3 webinars, and people are really coming. So last week our webinar we had 43 people come. That was good. 30 people RSVP'd or 35 people RSVP'd, and 43 came, which is rare, to see that. Usually it's half the people. The week before we had 53 and 37 people RSVP'd, which I was like, and even the first one we had, I think we had 33 and 20 something RSVP'd. So, which, it's a interesting trend, that more people show up than that said they would. What's telling me is that these people are sending it to their peers, right? They're forwarding the invite and things like that, which is it's excellent. It just shows me that these people are hungry for more information about Reltio products. So that piece is going really well. The discussion piece it's summertime, so I have to always remember that
it is summertime. You're 100% correct.
June, July, the first half of June was okay. But then the end of June, now all the way until I assume September, it's just going to be really slow from a activity standpoint. Logins are less, page views are less. And look, we're only 2 months in. Let's be kind to ourselves. But those are the things I think about and worry about. So I've got to keep not just myself at bay, but when people are like, well, where are the discussion questions? So what I'll do is I'll ramp up questions, just to continue to see 2 or 3 a week, because I get a lot of really good Q&A from those webinars. So I take that to like a rev.com, and I get those discussion questions from there, and I can ask them, and then I'll log in as the expert and answer them under the expert, clean it up, but and so I started that today. But look, the content is going well. The video, I'm getting that through the webinars, and people are attending, so there's
Hmm.
engagement. There are, I've found maybe some potential. I don't know if you want to call them advocates yet or super users, but some potential people that are very engaged and that are wanting to do more. Um, and I have a plan for September. I think I'm going to change the webinar program up a little bit,
Hmm.
and do some of the same things, but also, I'm going to start reaching out to customers to see if they want to do some stuff. The hard part with them getting to do stuff is legal stuff. So we'll see if I can drum up
Always in the
any.
way.
Well, what can they share? What can't they share? So I just got to figure out, how I'm going to do that. I'm just going to start reaching out to people, see what they say, see if there's some legal stuff or not. My assumption is that anybody can talk about their expertise. You don't necessarily have to talk about your integrations into Reltio or anything else. You could just talk about data governance or data stewards or data whatever. The topic is, and just kind of how you've done it in the past, how you think about it. People want to connect to peers and want to hear about that, and then even write blogs on their behalf. And things like that. So I'm gonna try to do like a 20-80 or maybe 40-60 split, between Reltians is what I call them, and or customers
That's
with
the demonym, Realtians.
Reltians. Yeah,
Oh,
Reltians.
fascinating.
Um,
Okay.
and well, that's what we call people that are employed to Reltio.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
But
Realtians.
then
Yeah.
there's an opportunity to really kind of think about how partners can engage. And so, so like our Deloittes and Accentures and those that are either selling our product and or implementing our product. So that's what's going on with me. And that's kind of what I'm thinking about for the future. And it's I wouldn't say it's slow moving, but there's some really good things and there's some things that need to be worked on, or at least it's always stuff that needs to be worked on. Does that make sense?
So I lot. So I was thinking questions that you were kind of walking through. How the webinars, were they pushed out as a result of the community, or is that a new thing that started because of community?
It's a new thing because I started it. Yeah,
Ah, very cool.
I
Interesting.
built
So
it.
that
Yeah.
is very cool. That's so that there's some pent up demand there,
Oh, there
uh,
is. Yeah.
that folks wanted to hear and see something from
Yeah.
Realtio. That's very, very interesting. So, and do you ever get like a lift
Mhm.
in some of your after your WebEx or something like that?
Yeah, you get lift in logins by like double or maybe even more, because they're interested, they want to read it real quick or whatever. So, and also activity in itself. Um, so so these webinars, the last three I've done into even this week aren't really necessarily engaging, or you don't have to go to the community to engage in it. You just click
Right,
on
right.
you have to go to the community to log in and RSVP for it to get it. So that's positive. But the Ask Me Anythings that are coming up are
Yes,
going to be
yes.
a lot more engaging in that way, because I'm going to push people to. I'll post a question around, what kind of questions do you want to ask our founder CTO, and that kind of stuff, and I'll send emails out a week or two beforehand to see if I can get 5 to 7 questions, and then that will push activity in that way. And then so, but from a activity like discussion question or people posting, this doesn't seem to drive a lot of activity specifically on the community itself, the online community, but it drives interaction between people, once they're on that webinar and something that they're interested in. Plus, as I've said 1,000 times, it gets me video that I record, it gets me some blogs
Right.
that I can start doing, embed those blogs and some activity and engagement, during the webinar. So.
Has marketing ever had a program like that before, or is it the first time?
No, they have webinars, so it's not that they don't have them, but they're just very high level. They're not.
Mm.
They're just talking about the high level stuff. I'm not talking about the high level stuff in general. I'm not saying I would never. If somebody asked me that, if like our founder CTO Manish said, Chris, I want to talk about this data governance topic at a high level. Okay,
Mm.
great. We will. But um, but really, I'm just trying to get more in depth. I want people to use the product better, to know it more. I want them to be able to use our APIs. and understand our APIs, and I want to get granular if we have to, get some code out there, that people need and want, that's going to help them, adopt. Adoption is the key, at the end of the day.
The
So
proverbial "you build it, will they come."
no, it's not just adoption on the community; it's adoption on the product. So
Okay, got it.
is what I'm talking about. Is how do I if customers can connect with each other and say, hey, I've done this thing, and I used it like this, and I use this. I'd be curious to see what you're thinking, why you would even do it that way. I saw a post today, kind of like that.
Yeah, there's a lot. There is a lot of. Yeah, again, I remember from my old hat. There's definitely a lot of, we'll call them, I don't know if it's the right thing to say, alpha engineers or alpha developers. It's just people who, you can have very smart developers, but with every new platform creates some new
Yeah.
challenges, and there are best practices.
Yep.
And you just kind of want to get ahead of the game, because that's not what you want to spend your time on. You want to spend your time on innovation, not on the how do I plug A to B. Surely someone else has done
Sure.
this type of thing, and there's such a thirst for that stuff. I remember we would do things like we put out like schematics or modules, things that were not necessarily easy, but they kind of were building blocks that got you started ahead of time. So
Yeah.
they were great. They're great stuff.
I think, look, especially in today's kind of thing, developers and engineers want documentation in a big
Correct.
way, because they don't want to talk to people, to be honest. And so I wouldn't tell you that my audience is developers. There's a piece of that is, but
Oh
it's
well,
more,
if you don't mind, but pardon me. Who is your audience for me?
yeah, it's more like data stewards, it's enterprise architects, it's directors of
Ah,
enterprise architecture,
okay, got it, got it, got it.
it's solutions architects, data whatever, you know what I mean? Like those are, I mean, they're putting stuff together, like think somebody on Ujwal's team. So not like a Jeff that doesn't want to talk to anybody, but some of these people do have business acumen, but they also have, technical acumen as well. In general, not all of them, but um, an enterprise architect would, or director of enterprise architecture, or somebody in information management. These are people that are driving conversations on, on the Reltio community. So, um, you know, but I mean, we do have a heavy developer presence, and I think there's a big opportunity to capture that. But
Right, right, right.
just as Marion said, one time, you remember her? That's
Yeah, an old colleague of ours in Germany.
at the moment, that's not my pile of shit. You know what I mean? So it might
Very
be
German
at some
direct.
point, but but there is an opportunity, but you got to focus in on what you can focus in on, and today that's getting people to use our products better, and through our community.
Oh, they're just people you miss, yeah, I
I
love it.
know,
Michael,
I know.
you have such flowery words.
Yeah, I told you she said that, and he's so flowery. I like him a lot. Oh, I wish I don't have words like that, Chris.
That's funny. I just love it. That's a very kind way of saying he can really give some bullshit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the Germans, man, they're. I did a podcast this morning with a guy in Munich about communities, as a matter of fact. But they
Great.
all have that. They all have that uh, accent, like
Yeah, that's that kind of, yeah. I don't know how to explain it. German accent. Yeah,
it's just a very, yeah. It's great. I love talking to. They're very blunt and to the point. So
it's great, and it's fun. Not to get totally into the rabbit hole, but
yeah,
just I remember we had to spend some time talking to people like, is so and so mad at me? I remember one of our old friends, Ujwal. No, they're not mad at you. They're just very direct on their questions. So they're not going to spend time to say, "Hey, would you, how possible
wow.
that, which." It's just like, I don't like it.
That's right.
You
I
are
mean,
wrong.
Marion said to me several times, Chris, just get to the point. What do you want? I was like, I just want you to do this. Okay, I'll do it.
I'll do it. Exactly.
Okay, all right. That's all I got. Bye bye.
Yeah, it's great. It's so funny. I love it. I love it. Well, we are relationship builders fundamentally, so it's kind of funny.
That's right. Well, you learn, man. I mean, like every culture is literally different. So you're just like, I remember working with, I don't know how we're getting off to this, but the Israelis. I mean, different culture. They are actually very warm, but they're very blunt as well, and
Mm-mm.
so, but it's still a little different. You don't know, so you have to be very, I say cautious, but you have to be alert and understand how people work. The French, were very difficult at first, for me to get to work with, but eventually they come around, right? They have to have some coffees and have some lunches and
You just need
dinners,
to
and
know how you work the culture. That's exactly correct. Yeah.
I mean, literally, they don't make a decision right off. The
No.
French just, well,
No.
5 months later, all of a sudden, we're ready to do this.
Yes,
I'm like,
exactly.
ready
Okay,
to
we
do
got
what?
what
This thing
what
you talked about like 3 months,
5 months
five
ago.
months ago. I was like, oh, okay, let's go. And they'll do it very well, and so it's just uh it's just interesting to work with different cultures. So, I'll get off of that, but
100%. One of the things I miss in my current venue, my current affair, if you will. But no, I love it. It's funny.
yeah.
I get to use it as anecdotes. And probably getting tired of it. It's like, oh, I remember one time when I was, you know, dealing with the Germans in this particular manner.
And they're like,
Makes it sound like, oh my god, here goes this guy again.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
you know,
please
you
tell
get
us, Mike.
you get to work with, a different culture, right? I mean,
Well, you don't know exactly. It's a completely different culture. It's kind of funny. It's my own. I boomeranged a bit as folks know,
exactly.
and I left and I came back and I've learned so much that when I come back, I'm having to relearn that which I started with
Yeah.
before. If that makes sense.
Yeah. You have to kind of go back.
And I'm having a hard time kind of readjusting the thinking. And I'm not saying readjusting myself, but helping others. Be very careful how I say this word. Tune into my thinking, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
That's what executives do. You have to start. No, I'm
Yeah,
serious. You have to tune into their thinking. If you don't, I mean, you have to probably tune in, but they have to tune into your thinking, right? Because,
yeah,
but that's at anything. If you're executive anywhere, they're gonna have to tune into your thinking. I mean, that's
yeah,
just
and
the
it's a
reality.
very interesting thing. So we were talking about what we were been working on, but one thing I've been able to kind of as part of greenfielding a digital organization, as the other partner of yours is IT,
Yeah.
and helping my IT partners kind of start thinking in a different way.
Mm.
I think right now the best way I would say our IT department is structured, both financially and organizationally, is around keeping lights on. Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
It's preventing shit going down
Yeah.
and making sure the lights turn on. Pretty simple, right? Everything else they will give to consultants. They will
Yeah.
send it off, and it's worked for them for many years. But now, as we kind of enter this new phase of digital,
Mm.
I've akin it to this idea of we're transitioning from the physical to the interactive. Physical meaning, branches, brick and mortar, people in those branches to kind of manage the facility requires a different phase when you look at everything is being connected online,
Mm.
virtually, information is now being sent through server. How do you manage those data? That's a different skill set and more people. So I was kind of working with, not kind of, was working with, kind of created this. I think it's one of those like, oh, this is great. This is awesome. I'm sure it's not original because I'm sure everybody comes to the same concept. It's like, how do you build up or shift an IT organization from a keep the lights on to keep lights on plus, which is developing an interactive, scalable team that's going to be able to deliver digital solutions,
Mm.
but yet manage the excellence that they have associated with keeping the lights on and some of the structure.
Forrester research used to talk a lot about that around, instead of just keeping the lights on, and that's still an important piece, but we need more of a business technology rather than just IT, right? These people have to start talking to the business and talk business language,
Yeah.
and be more of a consultant to the business, to make sure that they can get their stuff done, rather than a no person.
Oddly enough, this is kind of weird. I didn't read the Forrester research, but I did other research, and it's kind of the paradigm I've worked with him to say is that you can no longer be in an accepting perspective. Like I take in tickets, I solve tickets. It's more of a, how do I make use or create best in class, or so they're going to have to hold some of those data, and they get people in that can help drive that change. Mm-hmm. And one of the first things I said was, first of all, architects, you need some people who just know the shit, right? You need, and they can mastermind the system. You need people who are developers, to go build those things, and you need to structure your organization that knows how to do that. Again, this is the feedback, and I kind of put this all in the presentation, not a presentation, but kind of an outline with some data points, and I said, listen, this is work that I'm doing for you because it's a vested interest for me, if that makes sense. So if I can help you get there, I know I will be in a better place organizationally, right? If that makes sense.
What's your kind of thought about, or how are they reacting? Is it?
Well, it's interesting. I don't know yet. I said this on Thursday. I said, hey, listen, there's a lot here. It's best if I kind of walk through it and kind of talk to you about where my thought is, where the data shows, and then align that with where you're thinking. But you can't just do it over of email, and it has to be over a phone conversation.
Can't just read it.
Yeah. So he's like, well, give me a second to read, and then I'll come back to you. It's like, okay. And then I went to Santa Fe and haven't had a chance to come back to it yet. But I think from a conversation I had today, I can tell he read it, because he was talking about, as we build kind of dev resources, and
good.
Our competency, and I'm the only one that uses the word competency. I like it when some of my jargon starts getting into others
vernacular. But it's important, like if you're gonna speak the same language, then you have to be,
No, it is. It's kind of fun. And I got a new person in, and I was thinking about our time, because I was upfront about, listen, I'm going to spend a lot of time literally diagramming how this works. And
I love that.
It's funny. I'm going to turn the camera on so don't get seasick. Whoa. But you see the whiteboard there?
Uh-huh.
Those are all me talking through, this is how it works. And I spent an hour doing e-commerce 101 because I felt, listen, this is the foundation. It reminds me of Devishish when he would do something like, it's pretty much conversion. What's a conversion rate? Conversion rate is, blah, 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 blah. And I said, that's it. That's all you need to know about e-commerce. The rest is just the detail.
It's all conversion.
It's about conversion and scene.
I'll teach you this other stuff later.
Yeah. We spend our time optimizing two things, call to action and total traffic. So, there you go.
So you get a new person. That's good, though.
Yeah, no, one. And it's very interesting because, as I tell folks, if you're in the digital space, it's a really good time right now.
Yeah, very good.
Not just digital, but even IT, and just this is what it is, right? So it's the shift we've seen for COVID. People are just moving; they've accelerated that digital curve quite quickly.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. So it's hard to get people, but no, I'm good. I'm glad.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on. Good. Wow. I like it. I'll be interested to see kind of if you change any minds, and it sounds like you've already got people talking the language a little bit. Reading some of your emails.
When I see the final presentation, like, none of my shit is in here.
Yeah. We didn't even know what you're talking about. We just said,
oh no, it's all a bunch of diagrams that we just, frankly,
we said some words, want to make you feel better, but other than that, thanks. Maybe next time. Okay.
See you next time. Appreciate your help.
Yeah, well, just do what you got to do, Michael. Do what you got to do. But I need you to do this first. Well, we will. Yep.
Yeah,
next time.
That's okay. Yeah. So. Oh, my friend. Well, Chris, as always, we've come to an end of another fine podcast. Thanks for your time, sir, and I think we'll get the chance to to say hello again probably later this week. But as one of your hosts, my name is Michael Sandoval.
And I'm Chris Detzel.
All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.